It's time for Cats Talk Wednesday. Small town and big city joined forces. Vinny Hardy of Lynch, Kentucky, and Terry Brown of Louisville, Kentucky, team up to give you free-flowing, laid-back sports talk. Focus on Kentucky Wildcats, as well as pertinent information in the NBA, NFL, and Major League Baseball.
Sitting here trying to do what we do. Terry Brown, Vinny Hardy, on the heels of Super Regionals in Lexington, as TB's shirt would let everybody know. Wildcats Baseball. BS3 Network, BS3TVLive.com. TB, how we doing, man?
Doing good, doing super.
Hey, absolutely. 2 years in a row. And now we got it at home. They got to come to us.
That's the big thing is now we've got it in Lexington. It's still weird how they determine who's the home, who's the visitor for these things. I don't understand such things, but I thought if you were at home, you was the home team. But that's apparently not how it goes. But the Cats did it.
Had to go on the road and beat Indiana State. So
that's right. The Fighting Larry Birds.
So hey, they did it. You know, what was the first game? Was it Western Michigan?
Yeah.
Beating them down, let off the gas a little bit, closed them out. And then Illinois took them on back to Champaign, where you drive through and be like, hey, we sent y'all home when you.
That's right. On Kentucky's birthday, Illinois calls itself the land of Lincoln. How the ever, that's not where Lincoln was born.
That's right. Several counties fight over the birthplace, I think, but it's in Kentucky nonetheless.
Is it not Hodgenville? I always assumed it was Hodgenville because that's where. That's where all the stuff is, right? I thought. I don't know. Maybe
different places within the county say this is the spot. I don't know. I thought it was. It's in the border though. It's within the Commonwealth.
It would be like Iowa laying claim to me. No. Like I tweeted out, I am like Abe Lincoln. I grew up in Kentucky. I have moved to a Midwestern Iowa state to spread the goodness and cheer, make this area a better place. That's what I'm doing.
And you had to let them brothers know that Muhammad Ali was from Kentucky at the barbershop. So
hey man, yeah.
If they don't learn nothing else, you know.
Any black people in Kentucky, I'm like, and I showed you the picture. It's huge. Ali. I can't remember if it's him in one of his fighting poses. I don't know. I don't think it's the underwater shot, that famous one, but it's Muhammad Ali, and it's huge. It's life size, and I'm like, well, that one.
They had no idea.
And I'm like, I guarantee. I've been in lots of barbershops in Kentucky. Ain't no black Iowa people been on any of those walls.
Not even Harrison Barnes or nothing. You know, that's the only black Iowa I can think of. But maybe I guess can educate us.
I forgot about Harrison Barnes.
He's the only one. Every time he would be playing for North Carolina, you know, they at the free throw line, Harrison Barnes, 6'8", blah blah blah. Iowa. I was like, black folks in Iowa. And
but it's not even Des Moines. I forgot where he's from, but it's like he from where there's few and far between.
maybe I guess can educate us on some more black folks from Iowa. He is backstage now, not to put him on the spot, but he's been with us before. Had to have him back this evening to preview and dive into these NBA finals. JR the Bossman, host of the Bossman Show, interviewed anybody on that show. JR, man, welcome back.
Vinny and TB, I have no idea any black people besides TB in Iowa. I didn't know it's only black men in Iowa TB. I didn't know there's any others.
There's a few, but not a lot. And Harrison Barnes is from Ames, Iowa, home of Iowa State. Just to let you know.
Hey, the only black people in Iowa are on the football and basketball teams of Iowa State and Iowa. And maybe Drake. Other than that, they ain't from Iowa.
So he can't help us either.
Home of B.J. Armstrong. He played at Iowa way back then.
Yeah. I just wasn't aware of it. I thought TB was the only one that actually lived there was TB.
I run into a few every now and then.
Blake trails out there, boy.
JR, thanks for joining us, man. How's it going?
It's going good, man. It is June here, man. The first pick in the draft with the Atlanta Hawks, of all the drafts we could draft ever. Hawks got the first pick in the draft. Think about the look of that, right? So, it could be some things going on with the Hawks, man. Could trade down, could take one of the French guys. You never know, man. This draft is interesting, my brothers. You got a couple of Wildcats. Could be, if the Hawks trade down, could be Atlanta Hawks. Could be Dylan Helmet. Could be a Shepherd. You never know. So it may be some UK flavor in Atlanta with the Atlanta Hawks. But the finals, man, it starts tomorrow, and it's been a long time. Since we got some 8 days in between games, man, a heck of a matchup. And we're going to delve into it also today. And also, the TV deals are done. NBC, Amazon, and ESPN. I feel like ESPN should not be a part of it because they're horrific coverage of the NBA. Starting with Screaming A Idiot,
I saw this thing. It was NBA Cobwebs. If you all follow that, where they'll show like those old intros from NBC where it's Bob Costas and you got clips and you got this and he's like setting the tone. I'm like, I miss that instead of Stephen A. Smith screaming about whatever he's screaming about.
Man, ESPN's completely is horrible. And I'll be honest with you guys. I'll mute the broadcast. From countdown, I don't want to hear Doris Burke or Reddick. You should never got rid of Mike Breen and Jeff Van Gundy. I've never listened to from Doris Burke and JJ Reddick. You're a future coach of the Lakers, by the way.
Yeah, I've seen that. People ask me my thoughts. I'm like, whatever, man.
it's whatever your king wants. And getting the podcast with the brother was obviously your job interview.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Yeah.
That's all you needed. That's all you need on that resume. But when things get awkward or tense or adversity hits, as it often will, I want to see how, things get rocky between them. Everything's hunky-dory now. But when the Lakers on a 4-game losing streak and then it's this LeBron JJ marriage is
what my question is, Vinny? I don't keep doing the podcast.
Hey, Doug Gottlieb's gonna keep doing his show apparently.
Yeah, so hey, we gotta have the mind the game part after a loss to the Grizzlies at FedEx Forum. Let's go to a fire after Harris Century on Beale Street.
They gonna start doing like Draymond, just pod right up after the game, man.
Man, it ain't this wild. It's some wild stuff, my brothers.
It really is.
It is weird to have active players slide into these media roles, like with Draymond on Inside the NBA. It's just weird to have that on there because this new space where they're supposed to be media, well, they're also players, right? Like my whole thing is every former player's got their own podcast, but how much of it is actually newsworthy?
It's not.
Right.
I'll be honest with you, brothers. I don't watch none of that garbage.
No, I catch clips, but I don't want to hear. I don't care what Gilbert Arenas got to say.
And he's a clown.
I just don't. Or Draymond's podcast. Well,
another clown.
I don't want to listen to Draymond. He talking about the league trying to make him poor with these fines. All you gotta do is stop kicking people in the junk, man. Like that's not too big of
and choking people.
I would think.
Yeah.
Right. And stepping on people. Like that doesn't seem like too big of a barrier for you.
And he on the broadcast hating the whole time. Now Rudy Gobert is what he is. He on the broadcast hating the whole time.
Yeah.
Now, of course, again, I watch it on mute because I'm no fan of Barkley or Shaq. For reasons of how they treat the black community with certain things they say. Okay. But I rock Kenny though. But Shaq and Barkley take positions that against the black community. So I can't deal with that. So I watch it on mute. But for clips I saw Draymond up there cheesing and hating, I'm like, bro, like, get a grip, bro.
Yeah, he choked Rudy on the court. Then he was choking him with everything he was saying. You know, with his.
And then he popped up in England at the dadgum soccer match.
I didn't even see that.
With his son, yeah, Sunday he was on. Like, what are you doing that little soccer match in England? What the heck he doing over there?
But all these guys with these platforms, you would expect them to break stuff down. But and look, I'm not trying to hate. Well, maybe I am trying to hate, but a lot of it's just self-serving.
No, you tell me no, TB. You're not hating. You're calling it what you see. You've been an analyst.
It's just self-serving, right? Yes. Like I mean, I get it, but I don't need to listen to Draymond for an hour and a half talk about why he stepped on somebody's chest.
No,
and this, that, and the other.
I'm trying to convince us that he was
or
correct in doing so.
Yeah, if I think with that Golden State run, what is he? The number 3 guy?
Mm-hmm.
Right? Like, I don't need to listen to the number 3 guy tell me how good he is, right?
I mean,
we don't need that.
Yeah.
I mean, are you going to listen to Vinny? Going to listen to Otis Thorpe talk about the '94 Rockets? Like, I mean, yeah, he had some games, but that ain't why this goes, right?
No, let's go one better. Matt Bullard, Scott Brooks.
I'd rather listen to Mario Ellie.
Hey,
let me listen to that guy, right? But you would think that Draymond is the straw that stirs the drink. The way he's out here with all his stuff, and he was just very fortunate to end up where he ended up. Basically,
yeah, that's true.
Mm-hmm.
That is true.
You're right about that, my brother.
Now this final starting tomorrow, man. Did you have Dallas and Boston at the start of the season? When you got off vacation and got back on the grind, who did you think would be in this position?
Denver and Boston.
I was thinking Denver. I didn't know from the East, but yeah.
Denver, because Boston has 6 starters, if you want to consider Al Horford a starter. Now, beyond Al Horford, they ain't got nothing off the bench, but you get my point. Denver is pretty much the same thing. Denver had 5 starters and no bench. Boston has 5 starters without Horford. This could be a 6 starter. So for me, I had Denver and Boston. Dallas made trades and they all fit. Getting rid of loudmouth Grant Williams for, Washington, the baby mama drama, and bringing in Daniel Gafford from Washington. So that fit them. You see that live game. Dallas likes to pack the paint and say, hey, shoot jumpers. Now, this matchup's going to be different, though. Boston wants to shoot jumpers and threes. So do you never run them off the line and shoot 2s? Because Joe Mazzulla's offense is, we don't want 3s and layups. Mainly 3s. So Dallas, it's against OKC in Minnesota and the Clippers, they'll content to give up the corner 3. Can you be content to give up Boston 3 points with Horford in the corner, Holiday, White? Then when it gets tight, you're going to default into the Tatum Brown isolation game. I would want that. But so it's interesting how Dallas determines what are we going to live with.
Who's the better coach and why, in your opinion?
Listen, Kidd's the better coach. He's not so married to analytics that he can't change and make adjustments. Mazzulla is strictly an analytical guy on both sides of the floor. And it's not a human feel to the game. It's just do it better. Let's keep doing this and do it better. There's no variation to it. It's what we're going to do. Kidd will willing to make adjustments, change rotations. He plays more people. His bench has more impact. So I like Dallas' bench over the Celtics bench because you come with Sam Hauser, Xavier Tillman, and Creedon Pritchard and Al Horford. They come off the bench with Lively, Hardy, Green, Maxi Kleber, if you need them. So there's something there. You know what I'm saying? So now starter-wise, Boston wins. It's going to be the bench and the defense. And what two closers can go off the most? Kyrie, Luka, or Tatum Brown? And I would just have to say Luka's the best player on the floor. If he gets going, what do you do for your Boston? Does all your talent withstand Luka going off or Kyrie going off or both going off at the same time?
Complete hypothetical, but I know Hawks fans have to wonder if they draft Luka, where are y'all at? How does the path? How does these years differ? Because they're forever linked. Whether Hawks fans want to think about it or not, they are.
They are forever linked. Yes.
What were these past few years have been like for the franchise? That for you covering, for that matter, if you want to look at that perspective, what would it? How do you think it would have been? I mean, we can't ever know, but
Well, Luka until this year did not commit to playing defense, right? So still would have been 4-on-5 on defense. But offensively, it's harder to stop Luka Doncic than Trae Young. If we're being real. Like, no bias, no hate, no nothing. Trae Young is a point guard that's small. He has to operate in space. Luka is big. You can't just blitz him all the time and he can still get by. You can post you up a little bit. It's more variety of ways to score. Trae Young is a three-point shooter, layup, and floater guy. Luka can hit you from the mid-range, the deep three, the mid-post, the side post. Luka has more ways to score the ball. And Luka is a more willing passer than Trae Young is. So they both are offensively talented and defensively lacks. But Luka committed the defense now more than more, and Luka's bigger. He's the bigger player. That the size does matter now, especially. I'm stop there. Size matters. Pause. I'm gonna stop there.
Would the coaching changes have played out the same if Luka is there? Because it's been some.
Luka got some coach killing him too now. I mean, this Luka. Look, like prior to this year, they both had that same moniker of being selfish and making it all about them. But Kyrie Irving opened something in Luka Doncic where he was willing to share the load. Wow. Trae Young has not once got to the point where he'll share the load with somebody else. Just being honest.
Because with Luka, even though Dallas had some success with him, it didn't look like playing with Luka was fun. It was almost going back your James Harden days. Like,
yes, air out the ball, bouncing the ball for 20 seconds. Then I'm going to shoot my fadeaway step back three.
It just didn't look like it would be fun to play that way.
You go stand in a spot while he dribbles the ball for 20 seconds.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Now, I got to give him this, though.
Commit that insurance fraud. As that James Harden, I'm going to get to the line with this insurance fraud. Drive and stop in front of somebody. I hate that, man. Don't reward that stuff. Anyway.
Trae Young do it, too.
Yeah. Luka does it, too. Luka does it. Yeah. But you mentioned how big he is. You mentioned how he can score in a variety of ways. And to not be, the fastest, quickest dude, he always gets around whoever's guarding him, and he's putting somebody on his back or on his side to do the break check and get that call. But he's a lot harder to keep in front of than he looks like he would be. So I don't like either one of these teams, but I got to give him his credit for that because he gets around that initial defender the bulk of the time and gets in the paint and does whatever he wants to do after that.
Mm-hmm. He's very methodical in what he does. He's clinical at what he does. You remember earlier this year, he came to Atlanta and scored like 660 on us, I think, and beat us. Earlier this year, I forget. It was a heck of a game. He scored all them points on us in Atlanta in a home game against the Hawks here. So Luka can put on the show, man, and now he's more of a willing passer now. And having to focus on Kyrie is like, okay, do we come off Kyrie or do we let them go one-on-one in the middle of the floor? So having Kyrie Irving out there has made his life easier.
When Drew Holiday says prayer is the only way to stop Kyrie, that tell you all you need to know, because the defender he is, and if he's praying,
hey, I always tell people, great offense beats great defense.
That's true. That's true. So how many games is it going to take? How many games? What you think? What's everybody thinking?
Boston in 6, brothers.
TB. Celtics raising another banner.
I'm pulling for Dallas just because I don't want the Celtics to win. But it would make sense for. But the thing is, Boston's kind of got to win. When you look at, because this is what their second finals, 5th or 6th Eastern Conference Finals for Tatum and Brown. Like, if they don't get it done this year, you would assume the East is a lot better, and they won't be as fortunate with injuries. So if they don't do it this year, which I'm hoping, that's a lot of questions I got to say in Beantown.
Yeah, that's true.
But I'm hoping Dallas in 6 or 7. I'm going with the Mavericks.
I think I am too, and I don't like it. Like I said, I don't like either one of them. But I think I'm on. I guess pick upset. I'm gonna say Mavericks in 6 on the record. And JR, you said that Coach Kidd has more of a human feel as a coach. Is not and just you can see Missoula's press conferences and know he ain't got no human feel. That dude is so robotic. And every time his eyes glazed over and we just got a So yeah, he don't have much human feel to him at all. I mean, you've seen him.
Kids will want to make adjustments. I just feel like Boston's starting 5 is better than Dallas starting 5. If you're just going blow by blow, right? If you just take, I'm gonna say that Luka and Kyrie are what they are, but Washington, Gafford, and Derrick Jones aren't better than Porzingis, White, and Holiday. I'm just taking it just on pure talent wise. I do think Kyrie Irving and Luka Doncic have two games where they go crazy and they win, but I just see that Boston starting 5, but you don't really ride them out because in the finals, especially on travel days, two games, 2 days in between games, so you can play 40 minutes a night and not have to go to your bench, right? So if you're playing all your starters heavy minutes, I mean, Boston starters are better than Dallas starters on just it's better. So I'm looking at that Kyrie and Luka can go off twice and get 2 games. But if we just look going blow by blow, who's going to be on the court, majority of the time with days in between games, 2 days in between games on travel days, it's Boston who's going to have with the advantage playing heavy minutes. Now, if Porzingis is not healthy, you still got Al Horford out there. And then you do have to go to Luke Cornetto or Amari Brissett or Tillman, but still, you can still some minutes here and there, go back to Al Horford and still play your 5-out game.
Porzingis been out 10, 11 games with the calf, and to get thrown back in the finals, how you expect you're going to hold up? I mean,
it's a calf, man. That thing can pop in any second, brother.
Yeah.
I made up predictions on calves and soft tissue injuries. You just never know until you out there.
Rest is the only thing.
Yeah, but the thing about it is you ain't been really having to exert yourself heavy, right? Then that one extra burst you make could cause a re-aggravation.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah.
So that's why with soft tissue injuries, I never say the guy's back until he's back and clears those hurdles.
Yeah, and that's 7'3". That's a lot of calf to throw back in,
That's a lot of ground to cover, yeah.
Yeah.
And with calves, I'm always concerned about this too, the Achilles. It's all connected.
Yep, because that's what happened to KD. It started off as his calf, and then next thing you know, pop.
And that wacko Jets quarterback too.
Yeah.
So we just got it. We don't know. We just don't know. And like I said, soft tissue injuries are funny like that.
Absolutely. Now I'm gonna flip it up. I mean, you like you said, we talked with you last time. You cover every single game, all 82. So, what is your favorite city to hit, and what's your favorite arena? Since you've been to all of them, which ones are your favorite? Which ones are your least favorite, based on where they sit the press, the media, the lighting,
The
whatever.
favorite is going to the Garden, New York, because of the energy. And there's some fine sisters in the Garden, brothers. That's all. I know y'all married. My sister's in the Garden. It's not for the arena though. I like Memphis. A lot of my friends are in Memphis from Tennessee State. It's like a home game for me. I like Charlotte because it's the same kind of vibe as Atlanta. Orlando's cool because it's warm. Miami's cool. Go South Beach, whoop-de-woo. LA it's gonna be tricky this next year because I said we said JW Marriott downtown by Staples. Then the Clippers gonna be in Inglewood now, down there by SoFi Stadium and the Great Western Forum. So it's like, do you stay in Inglewood and you drive out there? So blue. I don't like staying in Golden State because it's a part of town that gentrifying the town. Part of that town, there's a lot of homeless people out there, so you can't really just veer off and do what you want to. Now, none of it's homeless and unhoused. It's just you don't want to deal with that if you ain't got to, right? You feel me? Not a fan of Utah because stuff closes at 9 o'clock, bro.
Shout out to Mad Max. Shout out to Mad Max.
I still can't believe they got a all-star game in Utah. That still blows my mind.
Yeah, OKC is boring. I'm sorry, OKC is boring. That's another one. The other is kind of boring too. San Antonio's growing, but it's still San Antonio. It's kind of boring. You know what I'm saying? Toronto's a hassle because of customs.
What about the city itself, though? Once you get in there, a lot of people like it in the warm weather.
I'm never there when it's warm, so I don't get to explore.
Okay.
Cleveland is kind of boring, but I got friends there, right? So Indiana, another city, I got friends there, but it's like kind of because I'm a city dude. I'm gonna sit up and tell you I'm a city dude. I like to go do stuff, right? So, but it's kind of like you just go do your job, and same thing in Indiana. JW Marriott, you take that and go up to the Greenwich Fieldhouse. You know what I'm saying? And media seating wise, I would say Dallas is a good media seating. Dallas has good media seating. Dallas is good. The Knicks have you way up high. Is up in the sky. A lot of teams are putting you up in the sky more and more, especially post-COVID. And the Lakers make you pay the park, brother. You media, can you believe that?
Oh, do they really?
Yes, make you pay the park. Staples make you pay the park for media. Clippers and the Lakers. Yes. No, the Lakers, not Clippers. Lakers make you pay the park. Portland has you in these decent positions in Portland as well, but a lot of like Orlando's media is right behind the basket, so you only watch it from one side of the basket, in Orlando, right?
Yeah.
Indiana has you kind of tucked in the corner above the visiting team bench on second level. So this was in Minnesota, the older arena, you kind of up in little concourse there, man. So. But Minnesota's going to the Eastern Conference. I told you this before, with expansions coming, they're going to the Eastern Conference.
Right. It's going to be, it'd be different. Which I mean, it'd be better for them. It'd be an easier path. And
they're closer to 7 teams than they are in the Western Conference. I know Memphis wants to be in the Eastern Conference, but you better in the West because Minnesota's closer to 7 Eastern Conference teams than you are.
Right.
So yeah, man, it's one of them things, my brother. It's just, yeah, man, it's one of them things, my guy. But Atlanta's cool too. Atlanta has you like above the first level, so you kind of have a good view of everything, right?
I always said it every time I go. You said it to yourself. You said Charlotte got those Atlanta vibes. I always felt like Charlotte was like a mini Atlanta without the traffic or with better traffic.
Yeah, and they call that place Uptown. Not downtown, it's called Uptown Charlotte. They don't call it downtown, it's Uptown.
Yeah. But I always liked it. I always wanted just, people that cover it have been everywhere just to get your thoughts because, you've been to every arena, you've been to all the cities just to see.
But you know what? Just crazy is one to have hockey. It'd be cold enough.
Right, in Charlotte?
No, because the arenas that do hockey and basketball.
Oh, yeah. Uh-huh.
It'd be cold. It'd be cold and that daggone floor. It'd be cold, brothers.
Mm-hmm.
Boston be cold. Philadelphia be cold. The Garden be cold. Chicago be cold. You know what's crazy, bro? Let me tell y'all something. Remember the old Bull defense thing? Defense that the old ways have. It's crazy. They don't play it no more, but the Cavs in Orlando do.
What Jordan?
The Bulls had defense.
Yeah.
The old one they used to have when the Bulls were really good.
Mm-hmm.
It's crazy how the Cleveland, Orlando stole it. The Bulls don't use it no more.
They don't play much defense in Chicago either, so maybe that's why. They don't have reason to play it like they used to years ago. It's been some dry years in the United Center, man.
We play offense. Offense.
That's right. Try to win, but yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, man. Billy Donovan's a cool guy. Shout out to Coach Donovan. He's a cool guy. Shout out to him.
Yeah.
Real cool dude. Also in the NBA, I can see Redick's probably be the coach in the Lakers. Trying to get him a good staff. If I'm James Borrego, I don't want that job as a lead assistant coach. I'll stay in New Orleans with Willie Green. I don't want the Lakers craziness on me if I'm James Borrego. JB, don't do it.
Yeah. About to see this carousel, man. It's going to be a lot of fun. We have to get you back on and talk about.
I think Monty Williams will survive, though. I think Monty Williams will survive for at least next year. I don't think Detroit wants to eat 5 years of salary right now.
Right.
It's a mess.
So I think he'll survive at least one more year, but if he gets off to a rough start, they might go and pull that plug on Tavares Monty Williams. It's really Tavares, y'all. It's not Monty.
The government name, all right. See, that's why you bring you on, man. You know all the stuff. You got all the information. You get CBA news, analysis. You do it all, man. And
no doubt. I try to do my best for you brothers on Wednesday nights, man. Even though I'm on vacation right now, I still come through for you.
We appreciate it.
Yeah, tell everybody about the show and how they can listen to you and get you, man.
Hey, this week we got a great support in the Bossman Show, man. Go to bossmanshow.com, BSP Network, Believe Network, hit Instagram, Facebook, Spotify, Amazon, Audible, Spreaker. You can hit the show all these places. This week we got Drew Joyce, new coach at Duquesne. My man Mike Woodson, former Hawks coach Indiana, been on the show this week.
All right.
Check those out, brothers and sisters. Shout out to my man, Coach Woody. He's one of the best people I know in the world.
Good stuff, man. I always appreciate you taking time out of your vacation. Enjoy it. Get back to relaxing, and we'll holler at you again, JR, man.
All right, but TB, let me know when you find more than one black people person an hour other than yourself, brother. Let me know.
Well, there's me and my barber, so there you go.
Hey.
Well, at least we should double it that fast. We didn't got to get the phone now. Let's try to get the phone now.
Moving the goalpost.
There you go. Man. Take it easy, JR.
Appreciate you, JR.
I'll see y'all.
All right. JR, the Bossman Show, interviewing all the coaches, especially March Madness. Like I said, I always check him out then. Yes, every coach in the tournament on his show at some point in time. Got our next guest right in here. Friend of the show. Been a little minute since we had him on. Since we're 2 games away from history, hosting that Super Regional. This dude is all things UK sports, but is a baseball dude for sure. We got a guy, Jeff Drummond, J Drum, on here, TB. Jeff, what's going on, man?
How you doing, fellas?
Can't complain,
good
man.
to see you. Now, I got to tell you, you're the one person when we're watching the football games, especially, I can see you and spot you on the sideline. And so I'm always telling my wife, I'm like, there's Jeff. So now it's become a thing when Kentucky football's on. She's like, do you see your friend Jeff? So just had to share that with you because I'll see you. And I'm like, there he is. I know Jeff because you got the vest on and everything like that. So I'm always looking for you when it comes to football.
Terry and my grandmother. I know I've got two people who are always watching. So there he is.
Hey, and I'm guessing that's some of your work that you got as your background right now, right?
Yeah, I set up a special in honor of the Super Regional. Got a little baseball Kentucky Proud Park background going.
Yeah, man.
And it's been a beautiful thing to see that park packed. That was the dream when they built it about 5 years ago, maybe. I'm bad with time. I'm one of those people that says a couple all the time. And somebody says, that was 12 years ago. What are you talking about? They built it a couple of years ago, and there were a lot of nights when I was in there, and there wasn't much more than me and the crickets and a few other people braving the elements. It's been packed and absolutely rocking here lately.
So for those people that hadn't been to the park, which you're trained eye, you're doing your job, you're looking for that shot. But for the casual first timers, what do your eyes go first in Kentucky Proud Park? What do you, as you take it in, or do you immediately go to Devin Burks? Do you catch Minge on third base? Where does your eyes go when you're
that's an interesting question. I don't know if I've ever consciously set out thinking in those terms, but you always at the start of the game, you're thinking, I'm going to get a few of the pitcher just in case, because if nothing happens and the baseball is prone to being a sport where you may not have a lot of action. College baseball, a little different than the pros, but I always start out saying, let me get some interesting stuff with the pitcher in case he has a great night. And then we'll work up from there.
Cool. So you got a game plan and foundation.
My passion for it, though, is getting defense, because that's the hardest thing. You have no idea where the ball is going to be hit. So you do a little guesswork. You watch, like I used to play catcher when I played, so I kind of watch how they're doing some things, how they're pitching some guys. A left-hander, they're working him outside. He might be hitting one the opposite way, So I'll go to the third baseman or the shortstop and say, hey, give me a diving play here. And it doesn't happen too much, but when it does, that's when I go home going, all right.
So speaking of diving plays, that Grant Smith dive, did you see it coming? Did you think he'd get to it? What was you doing?
I was not on that one. Disappointed in myself because, man, that'd been a great one to have. And I had no idea he was going to track that down. And after he did, I told people, I said, I don't know if I've seen a better catch in person. I've seen some on TV and on highlights. But you watch a man, playing shortstop cover, he must have covered 75 feet from where he started to catch that. And by all rights, the left fielder should have had it. Ryan Waltrip should have called that off. But he looked to me like he was having a little bit of indecision with it was a little bit of a hazy sky. And if anybody's ever played outfield in kind of those dusk night situations and it's been raining and a little bit hazy, humidity, sometimes it's hard to pick it up. But I think that's what happened and allowed Ryan to back off a little bit. Thank goodness he did, because we would have had a big collision, and who knows what that would have meant for the health of this team. Two of its most important players going into the Super Regionals, but it was a breathtaking play.
Yeah, absolutely. TV, I thought you was about to say something.
I was going to say, so Jeff, this is the second year in a row for a Super Regional, but they seem to be going into it a little bit differently with having it, in Lexington. And you've been around this team, and we know that Coach Nick was on the hot seat, a few years ago. And it feels as if they've kind of turned that corner, and this might be that first chance they can get to Omaha.
Yeah, going into last season, there was a certain amount of pressure you could feel around him, because they'd had a couple of disappointing years. They built that incredible ballpark for about $50 million. They weren't contending in the SEC. The crowds weren't showing up. So he knew, I think, last season that they had to get it done, and they put together a great team and had a terrific season. Got to the Supers, ran into the national champs, kind of bad luck in that sense, who had Paul Skeens and Dylan Cruz. I think those guys went 1 and 2 in the draft. And like right before I came on with you guys, Paul Skeens is just dominating the LA Dodgers right now, as we speak. Mookie Betts, Shohei Ohtani, Freddie Freeman.
Yeah.
He's just mowing them down. And that's who the Cats had to go through last season. And so their journey ended a little bit short of where they had hoped. But a few of the guys that were on that team, I think, had a little bit extra fire to them and knowing how close they were. And then they added some really good portal pieces to give them a chance to get over the hump. And you couldn't ask to be in a better position than they are for this regional. They've got a tough opponent. Oregon State's no joke. Three titles in the 2000s. Very good program, and they may have the best player in the country, and Travis Bazana, who's got, if you look at his numbers, it's like his numbers are what I'd have if I was playing softball this season. And he's playing baseball and doing this, like 415 batting average and 28 home runs, just unreal numbers. So they're going to have to be really careful with him, but I like their chances. They've got a good team, and they've got a complete team. I think in every series that we've watched this season, Kentucky, when you stack them up with the other team may have one element better than them or another, but Kentucky consistently, you feel like, has the best combination of hitting, pitching, and defense. And I really think that's going to carry them through this.
Yeah. Like you said,
I hope so, because I'm 2 hours away from Omaha, and I've got a pass from the wife. If they make it to Omaha, I'm going, buddy. I am not going to miss the Cats in the College World Series.
Yeah,
that would be incredible to see. It's kind of one of those bucket list type things for me as a sports journalist. I've got to do just about everything else that I've wanted to, and been to Final Fours and championship games, that sort of thing. But this is a big
been to bowl games. Yeah.
Now, this is the final 2 or 3 games at Kentucky Proud Park this season, no matter how it plays out. You mentioned that you get the pitcher first, but I know you've had to cast an eye or maybe a lens to the dugout with the energy that those guys have been cranking out all year long. Yeah. So your thoughts on the vibe and, impersonating Minge and everything that they do, for the guys that aren't on the field.
Let me set it up with a little bit of background on that and flash back to the early part of the season. And Kentucky starting out the season in February and early March. And people who are familiar with our weather around here, February and early March, it could be 70 and gorgeous. And then the next day it could be 30 and raining, but not enough to snow. It'd just be rain and miserable. And we had some games like that real early in the season. And one weekend it was cold, and I don't know if it rained, but it was gross. It was damp against Kennesaw State. And they came in and they put it to Kentucky.
Mm-hmm.
And that opened a lot of people's eyes, and people started saying, well, maybe this isn't the team that we thought it could be. And from that point on, they had a team meeting and a discussion after it said, hey, we just showed up. We were dead, And I remember that watching. I was like, there was no energy in the dugout. There was nobody in the stands. There was no juice anywhere. And they made a conscious decision from that point forward that they were going to bring energy no matter what happened. And it and it might rub some people the wrong way, even though they're not directing it at the other team, but they're over there causing a commotion the entire game. Something's going on, chanting, imitating Minge in the third base coach's box, who, and wearing the pink. You've seen the pink fuzzy hats that I think Mason Moore may have started that one, and the hat towers that they build, acting crazy when coach goes on to do his interview in the middle of the game. So they've been able to parlay that into something that works for them. And, there's been a few other teams that say they don't like it. And they don't think this ain't how my grandpa or my dad played baseball, that kind of stuff. But Kentucky doesn't care. They're like, we're bringing our own energy and you guys deal with it however you feel like you got to deal with it.
And so, a big key in the turning point right there. From that point on, but they 14-1 in the SEC play to start conference play, and just been rolling ever since.
Kept it rolling. The only hiccups they had, they blew a series in South Carolina, where if people remember, they gave up 4 home. They should have won that series, but they went into the 9th inning and gave up 2 pinch hit home runs and I think 4 total in the last in the 9th and 10th. It went to extras and they won. So that one really bothered them. And then they lost to Tennessee, which there's no shame in that. Tennessee's probably got the best team in the field right now. And but those games were really competitive, and they could have won that series.
Yeah, because they were up 6-2, 7-2 in one game. They lost to Tennessee. It's where it just kind of, just one bad inning kind of did them in. And I remember watching the SEC Network guys. The SEC Network where guys were saying they could have swept Kentucky. I'm like, well, if you want to play that game, the Kentucky did them the same way. So it could have. It was easily interchangeable. Sure, Tennessee could have won the one they lost, but Kentucky could have won the one they lost as well. If you want to do that. Yeah,
a whole lot of coulda, shoulda, woulda in this season. That things could have been different for Kentucky. They've won a lot of games that the other team could probably look at and say we should have won. But that's part of their the secret to their success is they just keep coming at you. Yeah,
well, they down 7 at Auburn, 7-0, and came back and won that one. And a lot of things just. 2's not 3, they say. They you got to get us out 3 times and then do that 9 times before you beat us. So,
they like to put the ball in play and force the other team to make plays. And we've seen many an inning this season where Kentucky doesn't even get the ball out of into the outfield grass, but they score 3 or 4 runs. So they've got a knack for manufacturing. I think that's going to serve them well as we get into the super regional.
You mentioned that you played catcher. So when you look at Devin Burks behind the plate, what do you see? What do you think about, kind of everything that guy does for the team?
Well, for one, I wish I was ever that athletic as he was. A lot of my time spent at the catcher's position was because they didn't want to stick me anywhere else. I was kind of the ultimate utility player. I think I wound up at every position except the ones that required skill, shortstop and center field.
Just being brutal to yourself, Jeff. Come on, man.
But they used to say they're definitely not putting me out there for my glove work. But I like playing catcher. And I wish I had 1/10 of his athleticism back there. That's fun to watch. It's also fun to watch how he shows up every game. That's kind of rare these days. A lot of people don't like to play their catcher as much as Kentucky does for the wear and tear that it can take on them. But Devin's back there almost every game. I can't remember the last game when someone else caught for Kentucky.
And he had a bad hamstring partially during the year that he was kind of gimping around and still just kept going out there. You're right.
Gets beat up and he goes out there with a smile, and he's kind of the positivity guy for this team. He tries to keep everybody's spirits up on a team with a lot of characters that do that, but him in particular, because he's not had the kind of year he had hoped and expected with the bat. He's been outstanding behind the plate and instrumental to what this team has done. But he wishes he would have hit a little bit better before now. His bat's starting to come to life. But it's not let him, hang his head or bring the team down or anything like that. He's never pouted, just goes out and does his job.
Absolutely. Now, your Reds, where you at on them this year?
Roller coaster. Merry-go-round, roller coaster. I don't know what the best. They scored 6 runs in the 9th inning, one before we came on here with a grand slam. And I think that's 9 out of 12 that they've won after having a disastrous May. So they were great in April. They were terrible in May. They're off to a great start in June. So
took care of the Cubs.
Who knows, man? The Reds.
Much to our chagrin.
Yeah. And what about your Steelers? Totally new quarterbacks and all that situation. How you feeling about them? And
I'm excited. That division is a beast. But I love the pickups at quarterback. Whichever guy it is a huge upgrade for us over what we've been playing with in recent years. And the defense, they've had some good pickups there, some nice additions. The only thing that really concerns me right now is the schedule. Like they pulled one of the toughest draws you could possibly pull for the NFL, who always likes to kind of pile on a little bit because the Steelers mean eyes on the TV, so we always get an extra game or two that maybe we shouldn't have had, but they want to sell some, TV ratings and put the Steelers on there. But
yeah.
we might have a really good season and go 9-8.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So my Cowboys come up there this year, so that's.
Oh, is that going to be in Pittsburgh?
Yeah.
Okay.
Sure is.
Well, my wife is a Cowboys fan, so we may have to check that one out.
Yeah, be an anniversary present or something, and whatever.
We went down to Big D when Roethlisberger was a rookie, I think.
Okay.
And, the Steelers played down there. Awesome experience. I'd always wanted to go to the old Texas Stadium before they got rid of it, with the hole in the ceiling and everything, and we had a blast.
Yeah, it's Arlington. That whole area is just fun, man. It's just we had fun. The Fort Worth, all that little DFW area is pretty cool. So yeah. But Jeff, man, we got. Oh boy. Oh, I see there. See there. What? It is shenanigans, Jeff. Here come the shenanigans.
I think that's the team with 5 Super Bowl titles.
Yeah. And
you're one short, Terry. You're one.
I know. I know a lot of Steelers fans like to remind me. We've been sitting on 5 for a minute.
And as much grief as he gives me, and the Cowboys have lost to them in the playoffs in the most mind-boggling ways the past 2 or 3 years.
Mm-hmm.
The Niners Super Bowl drought is still 1 year longer than the Cowboys.
We don't need to bring Jeff into this.
Now, unfortunately, Jeff, thanks to the Super Bowl 30 win that Dallas got over Pittsburgh, that came a year after the Niners beat the Chargers in Super Bowl 29. So everybody wants to make fun of Dallas. Oh, you haven't won since last century, and VCRs and Walkmans and CDs and all that. Well, y'all was a year longer than that. So that's all I'm saying.
You all still owe Neil O'Donnell money for that one. I think he's still drawing a check from the Cowboys. Those 2 picks.
Terry's cousin Larry cashed in and got to deal with the Raiders and everything from that.
Yeah,
Never to be heard from again.
Exactly.
And then disappeared. That's the thing.
So you got those, MVPs, championship MVPs, and there should be a tier or a table for those because you got, Jokic being the Finals MVP for the Nuggets is different than Larry Brown being the Super Bowl MVP for the Cowboys. There's different kids tables, and as far as it's because Larry cashed in and got a deal, and O'Donnell threw him right to him, but as far as being like a super concrete part of the team, no. But there's levels.
He had one of those moments like we see these guys play out of their minds against Kentucky in basketball, and then you never see them the rest of the season again. They're not making anything.
The Crispin brothers from Penn State stick in my craw more than anything else because it was Penn State, it was these two, and they lit us up. And I don't think they hit 10 threes the rest of the season.
Yeah.
That one. I know I'm dating myself. I'm like you.
We know
that was a few years ago. That was like Hubby's like second or third year or something like that. That hasn't been that long.
More recently, our guy Golke or whatever from Oakland.
Yeah,
he was hitting like if you remember that old who was that commercial with Jordan?
Oh, and Bird.
Was it Jordan and Bird? And they're throwing it off the back of the arena and all. That was Golke in that game against the Cats. And then he goes to that Final Four 3-point shooting contest. Didn't make a stinking thing.
Yeah, well, exactly.
He's got a great story to tell. He's selling insurance back in wherever. I went crazy against Kentucky in the tournament. Did you really? Oh, here comes Golke telling that story again. Yes, we know. Yeah, we know.
He's gonna be 85 telling that one somewhere.
He's gonna milk it for all it's worth. He sure will. Jeff, man, let's get your thoughts about the roster's complete now. Mark Pope has come in a few weeks and put together a squad. So your thoughts on? And look, I'll give you credit. I've said it. There's a lady here in Harlan County where I'm from. She writes for the Middlesboro paper, Jennifer McDaniels. She got a quote. She was, for an article from me about, Trent Noah and Mark Pope. And I said, look, Jeff Drummond was the first person. You're the first guy I saw saying that Mark Pope should try to recruit Trent Noah. And I'm still processing the hire and wrapping my head around Mark Pope. And you're already miles ahead of everybody saying Mark Pope should recruit Trent Noah. So, hat tip to you for that. But your thoughts on everything since Cal left till now with Pope coming in and what you're seeing?
Well, I was really excited about that pickup in particular. I root for all the good Harlan County guys, but he was a player that when the season started, I thought when he went to South Carolina, I was like, ooh, wow, that's okay. That surprised me a little bit that he was going to be playing SEC basketball. I didn't know that he had that type of ceiling. And then I started watching him more and talking to people and watching him a little bit more and going, my goodness, this guy can play. And the last time I had seen him, he was a little heavier. Body was a little different. He put a ton of work and probably got with a trainer at some point because by the time we saw him in a Sweet 16, he was killing it.
Yeah.
And making really tough shots and skill. And I was thinking when they were, the rumor popped out that Mark Pope might be the guy, I had watched these videos on the BYU offense. I said, this guy can play in this offense. He may not have been able to play for Cal, where Cal is just like, here's the ball, go, beat somebody, for the most part. But in this kind of system, we're running things and spreading the court to get guys shots. That's something this kid could do. And I'm just really excited about the potential, Trent Noah has 2 or 3 years from now. May not be next season. I think he'll get some spot time here and there, but he could be really big piece to their team in the future. And I know I drifted off into him automatically, but the roster that Mark Pope has assembled in a short amount of time, I don't think anybody would have imagined that he would put together this many quality players. They had hoped to get somebody, I think, in that bunch with a little more star power. And I hear that's where a lot of people are a little more reserved about it, because there isn't that one guy that you look at and go, oh, this is the superstar.
Right.
To lead a team to a final. But look at the whole thing, the thing as a whole, and the amount of quality players that he convinced to come and play together. I didn't think that could happen. With those, I think 9 guys is what it ended up being transferred, and 3 freshmen. Mm-hmm. And those 9 guys coming here know they're going to have to compete. There's going to be some battles for who gets those minutes on this roster. So I tip my cap to it. And that was the only concern I had about Mark Pope coming in, was the recruiting ability. Can he get dudes? Because he's got everything else you need to succeed here.
Yeah, this is the best case scenario, because we knew the way Cal operates. Whenever Cal left, whenever that was, whether 2014, 2024, whenever, we knew the cupboard was going to be bare when he left, just the way he constructs his rosters. And so for my money, this is a best case scenario, what Pope was able to do in like 4 weeks. Once he got hired and got his staff together, they've got a competent, top 20 team or better,
Yeah, and one of the things that's surprising about it to me is I thought he'd have a bunch of shooters come in. And there's no doubt in my mind they were going to be able to spread the floor and shoot from the arc. But he's got like 2 or 3 dogs defensively.
Yeah.
That will be better than anybody Kentucky had with on-ball defense and rim protection last year.
Yeah.
I didn't see that coming.
Yeah. You thought it's just kind of more – well, we just – from what we saw, he leaned offense heavy. He's an offensive guy. Figures his brain trust, and they just kind of bounced, brainstorming offensive stuff off each other. So yeah, but Butler and the bigs and
I envisioned that first year being kind of mummy ball for basketball, where we're going to try to outscore people, but these games are probably going to be similar to last year, where there's a bunch of 90 to 80 something, and if the shots aren't falling, it could be ugly for Kentucky. But no, he went out and got some guys, I think, that could be problems for opposing offensive players in the SEC.
Yeah, for sure. So optimism and excitement, and waiting for it all to get here, man. Oh,
Cats are back, baby.
That's it. And do you have an NBA team? We know Steelers, we know Reds.
Man, I'm probably categorized as bandwagon in the NBA. The Lakers were my team growing up because I loved Magic, and I was always drawn to players. So Magic and Kareem and Worthy and Cooper and Scott and all those guys. Those were my guys. And once that started falling apart, I just followed like players. Who do I like to watch play the most? Went through a little phase where I liked the Knicks a lot, especially when Kenny Walker was there, when Ewing was there, and they were scrapping with the Heat all the time. Went through a phase, really liked the Spurs, and I even liked the Spurs back when I was a little kid, and they had Gervin. That was one of my first guys. Love George Gervin. But anymore, like the last 5 or 10 years, it's just been kind of rooting for good games more than a team. But I still got some Lakers gear that when they get good, I throw it back on and say, yeah, I was with them all along.
There we go.
I respect it. Begrudgingly. Jeff, thank you enough, man. Been a minute since we had you on, but appreciate you taking the time to talk some baseball with us. And
We're finally going to get another NBA game. I thought they just canceled the playoffs.
See,
What's it been, a month since they played?
That's the thing that kills me is it just kills all your momentum. Like, that's the one thing I like about the NFL is when you're going to get your games.
Yeah.
And I hate sitting out this long. Play every other day.
The games were incredible. I was loving it. And I'm kind of rooting for Dallas in this one, I think. It wouldn't bother me if either one of them won it. But, man, those two guys, I don't know how anybody's going to beat Luka and Kyrie the way those two are balling right now.
And our man PJ has found himself a home.
Yeah. That corner.
Clutch free throws.
That corner's like a layup for PJ.
It sure is.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So I want him to have a little bit of success.
And I don't like either team, but for him to be from Dallas, it's got to. First of all, he's like, thank God I got traded out of Charlotte, and now I'm on a good team, my hometown team, and now we're going to the finals. I mean,
and making free throws. I was like, man, if he just had his free throws down in 18 or whenever that was, there could be another banner right now.
Yeah, 18 and I think 19. He missed a couple of free throws, although he did ball out on one leg.
Right.
That's true. But the free throws. I was in Atlanta for that. Not fun.
He's a good guy. I'm happy for him. He was always easy for us to work with in media. Good interviews, a straight shooter. So I'm glad it's all coming together for PJ.
Absolutely. Well, Jeff, man, we appreciate you. All the photos that come together that you deliver for everybody at Cats Illustrated. Forgot to mention this where you're from, but everybody check Jeff out there, the editor and the photographer. And we appreciate all your work, man, and looking forward to seeing what you do with these games at the Super Regional, man.
All right, guys. Thanks for having me on.
Hope to run into you in Omaha. So
hey,
fingers crossed and all that. That's right.
Say a little prayer for the people who sign the paychecks and do the travel budgets. So I hope to get there. I haven't had that discussion yet. Let's take care of business in the Super Regional, but I hope the powers that be agree to send me out there.
Absolutely.
The Cats in Omaha needs J Drum out there.
That's
taking
right.
Pics, for sure.
Get some good mojo going.
Absolutely.
Thanks
so much, Jeff.
All right, anytime, guys. Have a good one.
You too. Jeff Drummond, Cats Illustrated. Kate even knows him now, so hey.
You too.
So Kate even spots him, and you see him at, like you said, he stands out, man. He's unique on the.
Yeah, well, she's a photography person, so I always let her know about photography folks. I'm like, I know these people. Because the thing is, I don't want to be on the sidelines for any of those games because I don't pay attention enough.
Oh yeah, for football. That's right. Got Joe,
man. Because
got Joe Paterno.
Because what is it? Because the fourth, I think it's like the fourth quarter. Like you can go down the sideline. No, I cannot. I'm good. Because I went down for it was one of the Louisville games. I guess it was the Josh Allen, Benny Snell game at Louisville. That was I got to be specific. It was the game we blew them out here recently. Oh. I know I need to be more specific than that, right?
That's all of them here lately.
I was like, so I was like, I'll go down there. And that was the old governor was supposed to present the governor's cup, and they didn't even wait for the end of the game or whatever. So I'm on the sidelines and I'm taking it all in, but the game is still going on, and I kind of look, and it looks like they're coming this way, and I almost did like the little, I'm trying to be Mr. Cool, but I see him coming. I'm like, I try. and the funniest thing about that is, they got the big UK flag, the cheerleaders do, right? When they out there. Well, Josh Allen is looking for it because he wants to wave it. And this dude that's about 4 foot down there was like, you can't have it. And it's like, bro, give that man the flag so he can wave it in front of the Kentucky fans. But he's walking up and down, and he kind of bumped into me. Josh Allen just kind of bumped into me. And I'm like, I felt that. And that was just as you bump into somebody. And I'm like, I can't imagine this human being running after me, running into me full speed.
Mm-hmm.
That sounds like a nightmare, which reminds me of all these people. You know, every now and then some Twitter person's like, do you think you could get a hit off a major league pitcher or get a first down or score an NBA game? You can't do none of it. I don't want to hear it. None of it. Because if you could, you would.
Mm-hmm.
People are like, it's just 1 yard, man. But there's just 1 yard, but there's a lot of humanity between you and that yard, man. No. Do you think you can? Absolutely not, man.
Justin Rowland tweeted out a picture of a high schooler, I guess that if he did football camp at UK or something, but he said that Jamil somebody is huge, and he just took a picture. And when you make Vince Marrow look little, you're a big old individual.
Yes.
I can't find it now, but Marrow and Stoops are there, and Marrow don't look much bigger than Stoops because this dude is just towering over the big dog. I'm like, man, Vince played in the NFL and played college ball and is still a big man and is looking small next to this dude. So if he commits to Kentucky or wherever he goes, when he starts lifting on whoever's weight program, he is going to be a monster because this is high school him.
Speaking of big dudes, we got to talk about the untimely passing of 49ers legend Larry Allen.
Hold on. Don't do that.
He did play for the San Francisco 49ers.
Yeah, he did mess around out there for the last couple of years of his career. He did.
But is that not the craziest thing? As hated rivals as they were, a lot of dudes play for both teams.
I was thinking the same thing. I knew we would talk about this. I knew we would. So many.
But it just, because Ken Norton, Charles Haley, and then Larry Allen. I know I'm missing some, but there was a lot of dudes that played back and forth.
Dion.
Well, yeah, Dion. I knew I was missing some people. But the thing about Larry Allen is you have to be really special to jump out as an offensive lineman, right? Because most of the time, offensive linemen, you either notice when that dude can't block anybody, or you notice when that dude is blocking everybody, right? So I think, because when I see regular people, we talk about this, do their draft, mock draft. I'm like, you don't know what a good left guard looks like. You don't have an eye for that. I don't have an eye for that. But Larry Allen, as good as Dallas's offensive line was, he made that thing go. And ridiculously strong, ridiculously fast, and he was a beast.
The combination.
And I don't know if you saw that. It was Bomani and I can't think of the player, but he played for the Giants. They talked about they knew where the play was going.
Justin Tuck.
Tuck. Yeah. Because Larry Allen would go choo-choo, and you couldn't do nothing with it. And they're just these highlights. He's running dudes down, on a turnover, he's running these dudes down.
Linebackers.
Someone that big and that strong should not be that fast.
Mm-hmm. It's not even fair. It's not even right.
And
the clip
I remember
and the clip in the weight room where he benches 700 pounds. They still talking about that in the Cowboys weight room. It looked like a cartoon because the bar is
it's bending. He's
begging for mercy. Like, please take these weights off me, Mr. Allen. Please.
the thing about these offensive linemen is I hate it when we talk about skill positions, right? We need to call them the flash positions, right? But your offensive linemen may be the best athletes on the field. When you look in terms of flexibility, they got to have good footwork. They got to be strong. They got to be good with their hands. Like, it's a technical position.
Mm-hmm.
And Larry Allen was the best of the best. Like, I don't have all his numbers in front of me, but that dude was the best of the best. And hearing people tell the stories about what he was and everything like that, that's fantastic. So 49er legend, Larry Allen, rest in peace.
And all the Cowboys, you saw Emmett and Troy on Twitter, and Marcus Spears, who drafted as a rookie, is trying to, as a defensive lineman, go up against Larry Allen, and he's talking about him and Flozell Adams just doing whatever they wanted, and all of that, and like you said, the regular Joe doesn't know what a left guard looks like, but credit to the Cowboys because this individual played his college football at Sonoma State. That's where the Cowboys drafted him from. So to find him there, and first of all, what were the colleges missing for him to only get to Sonoma State? What? So they're missing. The colleges are not seeing what they should have saw because clearly he had to be just crushing the high school competition. You would think.
You would think.
Like Josh Allen at Monmouth before Kentucky steps in, Larry Allen at Sonoma State, and that's where he played. But the Cowboys found him there, and then he went on and 11 Pro Bowls and however many All Pro selections later.
Yeah, six times first team All Pro, 1 second team All Pro, 11-time Pro Bowl, all rookie team. 1990s all-decade team, 2000s all-decade team, 100th anniversary all-time team, and he's in the Cowboys Ring of Honor.
And
inducted to the Pro Football
2013.
That's right. That's right. But he did finish with the 49ers in 06 and 07.
He sure did. And
49ers legend.
I saw the picture. I saw Spice Adams, who, Bears and then the 49ers. And I saw Spice with a picture of him and Larry, not the big homie. Same thing Spears said, not the big homie LA. So he did. He did go play on the Bay. He did go out there.
The Cowboys fans are slacking. His picture on Wikipedia is 49ers.
Oh my God. Oh.
Yeah, y'all need to get on it, man.
We do. But 52 years old, man. Just like you said, untimely. Unbelievable. On vacation. Yeah. I mean, my goodness gracious.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. But I knew we would do the Cowboys 49ers crossovers, and we had to with Haley and Ken Norton. That one hurt me to the core, man, because Emmett easily, your favorite offensive player, and I was like, on defense, I just finally ended up kind of gravitating to Ken Norton because it wasn't as many stars on that side of the ball before Deion came. Darren Woodson was probably it took forever. I still don't think he's in the Hall of Fame, but you had the triplets over there, Michael, Emmett, Troy. Defense had a lot of good, solid players, but nobody on that same level. But Ken Norton was my guy. And to see him go to the Niners, that one, I was like, oh, you're kidding me. You're kidding me. That would hurt. Seeing that 51 and that red and gold, that was painful. Glad Charles Haley came on over to the good side and wreaked havoc for us. He did a lot of good things for y'all too before he left. But glad to see him come to the Cowboys and start wreaking havoc with the star on his helmet. But yeah, so many Cowboys Niners intertwined, man. It's crazy.
We'll get back to that. The Cowboys will be good again, and
you just you lobbed that one right to yourself, boy. You just Hey man,
well, I'm flying. I'm flying this weekend. I'm flying back to Kentucky this weekend, and I'm going through Charlotte. And it's the first time I'm going through the Charlotte airport since the Cowboys Niners game a couple years ago, playoff game. When
which one?
That guy,
which loss was that?
The
Dak Prescott or
specific.
the Zeke Elliott under center, or the other one where we ran out of time? Which one?
This was the Zeke under center. No, hold on. Which game? No, hold on. It was Zeke under center. It was that one. And Dallas had scored, and I'm sitting at the Chili's at the Charlotte airport. I'm like, man, and this guy at the 49ers does just like it. He's like, it'll be all right. Dallas gonna mess this up. Don't worry. And he got on this plane. I got on my plane. I was like, well, that was when my watch thought I was having a heart attack because I'm on the plane with the Wi-Fi doing, the ESPN tracker, and I'm trying to keep up. And my lovely wife is texting me, trying to text play by play.
She's a saint. She's a saint.
And we on our way back. We on our way back to Iowa, and it's dark. I'm on the plane. I got my phone. And this dude's like, "What are you?" I'm like, "Oh, I got the game." And a lot of Iowa people so I'm like giving them information, and I'm trying to keep up with the ESPN thing, and she's texting the play-by-play, and I'm like, it was great. It was great. That's love right there. That's love right there. She giving me down in distance and stuff like that. She tried to describe that Kittle catch where he kind of bobbled it and caught it, that whole thing. And
my blood pressure all over again.
I'm ready for the NFL season to start. We signed CMC to a deal.
Yeah.
Juwan Jennings first, and Juwan. So we're gonna be all in for the next couple of years. Then you gotta start making some decisions because you can't keep everybody.
Y'all paying Ayuk or not? Y'all paying Ayuk?
Yeah, they're gonna pay him.
They're gonna pay him.
They're gonna pay him enough to make it work for the next couple of years. Then they gotta start making some tough decisions, right? I think that's part of it because they're still there. The window, even though we haven't got over the hump, the window is still there. I'm still not worried about anybody in the NFC.
It's our job to make you worry. It's the rest of them, but I understand. That's a good place to be until somebody makes you worry.
But go Mavericks! Beat the Celtics.
I've got to ask you two real quick because I'm with the Mavericks as well, but we didn't hit it. We just kind of let it play out. We went straight from the Derby to the PGA Championship, which was at Valhalla, and that's in your city of Louisville as well. I don't know where the course is. You could probably tell me where it is. I don't know where it is in relation to, because I've never been by there. But you could probably say, well, if you take Gene Spider to the Waterson and do this and that, and you'd be like, okay. But from downtown, I don't know where it is. So you had the whole Scheffler, you had a tragedy before that, and then Scheffler arrested in a PGA car and the whole thing, and then charges ended up getting dropped a couple of days ago. Finally, is that
yes.
In a nutshell? That's what happened. But that we didn't talk about it when it was happening, but now it's all over, and so just had to. We went straight from Derby to this, and so now it's apparently in a review.
Look, I don't know a lot of things, Vinny. I'm smart enough to say I don't know. One thing I do know is I know what a good Louisville City police officer should be. Let me be very clear. I will what I keep on my desk, because this is the old man, assistant chief of police, city of Louisville, retired through most of the 80s, whatever. Police should be in the business of de-escalating situations.
Mhm.
I saw a lot of people when news started trickling out what happened, and some people were like, "Oh, it was chaotic situation." Yes, someone lost their life on the going into the golf course.
Mhm.
My thing is the police aren't allowed to do that. They have to keep their cool. Right? There's situations where no matter what's going on, you have to keep your cool, and being a police officer is one of them. It's just that simple. So the initial report was the police officer was dragged 10 yards, 20 yards, or whatever. I said it on Twitter. I said to my wife, there's no way that happened. Did he fall down or whatever? That probably happened, but he was. And then as more and more stuff starts coming out, I mean, they had Scheffler for second-degree assault of a police officer, a felony. What are we doing? And then video comes out. The scene, there's police officers all around. There's buses of people going into the golf course. And did nobody else saw the police officer getting dragged across the street? None of the other police reacted to a fellow officer being dragged. The math ain't mathing.
Mhm.
So what started out as a tragedy became an embarrassment for Louisville.
Yeah.
It was unnecessary, but that's what happens when police or whoever, when people get in their feels.
Yep.
And it's just embarrassing, but I'm glad everybody's kind of going on their own way. I saw Scheffler had a statement the other day. It's not Louisville, it's Louisville. One of my pet peeves, it's whatever I say it is.
I don't know, man. I mean, I don't know. Did he know? Does he? He probably know. Was he just doing that just to?
I don't know, but they
for
had
his
him
inconvenience. So on the way out, I don't know. One last little.
Yeah, but just to have this man in an orange jumpsuit and all. Look, man, it's just a bunch of foolishness.
Yeah.
But a bigger discussion is this kind of stuff happens all the time with police. They get in their feelings and things get escalated that shouldn't be escalated.
Mm-hmm.
It's just that simple. But I knew it didn't go down like that, like the original report said.
Yeah.
There ain't no way.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, how? Like 10 yards, 20 yards. That's a long distance.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's
that's 30 feet. You say it was about 30 feet.
Mm-hmm.
Like 30 feet, you're going to go past the turn to go like 30. Come on now, man.
Yeah.
Don't just think it like 30 feet is a lot of feet to be dragging somebody.
Yeah.
And plus, it looked like he grabbed the car. And again, everything I know about policing, I learned from Major James N. Brown Sr. His whole thing was, it works in the movies where you can jump in and grab the wheel from the bad guy. He said, all you're going to do is get yourself. Are you going to stop a car? Like, he's turning into the golf course. Mm-hmm. There's only one entrance and exit.
Yeah.
Where's he going? What are you doing?
I'm trying to go to work.
That's how these officers get hurt, man. Is grabbing cars. You see those things that go on those viral videos. You pull somebody over and go up and they take off. Why are you grabbing a car? Mm-hmm. What are you going to do? Mm-hmm. You pull them over. You got their information. You are not stopping a car.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
You are not Jason Statham. This ain't Fast and the Furious where you can hop and roll over. Come on, man. And when I say the police need a temperament, my dad knew I did not have the temperament for that job. Mm-hmm. De-escalation ain't what I do. So he told me, You know, it's like every little kid, I wanted to be like my dad, but I got old by that. I was like, yeah, this ain't for you. Now, my brother followed in the footsteps, went to family business. I didn't have a temperament for it, man.
Mm-hmm. That's it. And lastly, real quick, man, since you're right there close to Des Moines, how is Des Moines feeling? Because we don't know how we feel, but how's Des Moines feeling about Caitlin Clark? Are the home folks thinking she getting beat up, or is everybody just like this is the rookie trials and tribulations that everybody go through?
I'm scared to wade into it because we're at the point now. Everybody's bringing their own baggage to the conversation, and I think, for me personally, had the officials called a flagrant foul in real time like they should have, we wouldn't be having. Yeah, we wouldn't be having these discussions, right? Because we have watched. We got the WNBA pass because I said to you when we got it, yes, the wife is from West Des Moines, Iowa. Caitlin Clark from West Des Moines, Iowa. She gonna rock with West Des Moines, Iowa. And I can't remember who I was telling about, like that how it works. Look, Louisville, we rock for Muhammad Ali because he's from Louisville, right? Like, I don't think that's a weird thing, right? You talk about you really want to see Trent Noah do well because he's from where you from.
Mm-hmm.
Not just your home state, but he went to the same grocery store you went to, right? That's part of it, right? Mm-hmm. So, but for me, I'm like, I want to watch these other games because look, I'm late to the party. And that's what we need to, as men, as people that have not consumed the WNBA, we need to say, late to the party, but we're here. So what that means is you have to make a genuine effort to understand this level of basketball. Right? I think that's key. We have to also keep in mind that the Fever aren't very good.
Yeah.
They haven't had a winning season since 2016. And for a lot of those stretches, there's like 4 wins, 5 wins, 6 win seasons. It's bad, right? Mm-hmm. So the expectation that she was going to come in and do this, I don't think anybody realistically had that. But what has happened with Caitlin Clark is there's a certain element that wants to see the white girl do well and will use anyone that stops her from doing well and make that a cultural touchstone, which I think is unnecessary. Right? Mm-hmm. But there's also people that want to see her fail because of who she is. We need to be honest about that, which I don't think we have. We can have all these discussions. My whole thing is you got to leave her out of it. Should the sports world in general have been given the WNBA more eyes, more? Yes. Should have. Yes. Mm-hmm. Did a lot of women lay that foundation, the first 25, almost 30? Absolutely. Is Caitlin the only rookie this year? No, she is not. Right? But there was a perfect storm of everything that you can't ignore, that she captured a lot of the imagination that we have not seen before.
Yeah.
So there's just so many layers to this. We need to have these broader discussions, but it really is like you keep picking on her, and all she's trying to do is hoop.
Mm-hmm.
All she's trying to do is just hoop. She's not leaning one way or the other. She's just trying to hoop. Yeah. So I think, and now it's over the top. Some Indiana congressman wrote a letter to the WNBA. Congressman Jim Banks from Indiana sent a letter to the WNBA to ask how they're going to curb excessive physical targeting of specific players. We don't need that. She doesn't need that. like when Angel Reese did all this and stuff in her face, and I'm telling people, and I know you saw me on Facebook say like, Caitlin Clark talks trash. Like that's what she do.
Mm-hmm.
This ain't she's not just out here playing. No, man.
Yeah.
But the thing is, I'll wrap it up like this. We have to do a better job collectively on how we talk about women in general, in sports specifically.
Fair enough. Exactly. So, yeah.
Because we like them when they're wearing tutus and doing figure skating and doing gymnastics. But when they out here roughing it up, that for some reason that just doesn't compute. And I'm telling you right now, I'm watching my girls with field hockey lacrosse. They mixing it up, baby.
Mm-hmm.
The girls playing just as rough as the boys, man.
Yo.
Like don't kid yourself that the girls are out here playing patty cake when it's these high competitive that's not the way it goes.
Mm-hmm. Yo.
So you're going to play physical. And you know what? I've used this. I've told my oldest, I'm like, hey, you're going from high school to college. It's going to be different.
Mm-hmm.
I've told, I was like, part of my language, but I'm like, you're going to be out there as a freshman. You're going to think this, and the other. I said, somebody going to put you on your ass, probably in practice.
Yeah.
That's how it goes, man.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So the reactions have just been wild and just, we ain't got to do all that, man. It's hard fouls happen. Cheap shots happen. I don't want to celebrate the cheap shot, but we ain't need to do all these think pieces.
Because they saw her in college. They saw what she did at Iowa for all those years. She's been great at this level. We had Ryan Howard, and they sent us home in the tournament, and she was number one pick for Atlanta, and we couldn't do nothing with her in that game. That was 2 or 3 years ago. And she just been building. Pardon the Iowa State, but she been like a cyclone. She been like a storm that's building for years. And so when she gets up to this level, they're not just going, look, she ain't about to put me on a highlight. She ain't about to just come in and do all this Iowa Hawkeye stuff she been doing on us. And like you said, she's on a bad team. She can't just put her cape on and magically make them better. And it's look, they gonna come for her and let her know, hey, you ain't doing all this to us. You ain't, we ain't Ohio State. We ain't Nebraska. This ain't the Big Ten no more.
Yeah. And there's so many things at work here, right? Does Caitlin talk trash? Yes. Do other players talk trash to her? Yes. Does she flop sometimes? Yes. Does she get cheap shotted sometimes? Yes. Are there going to be hard fouls? Yes. Is she going to throw an LB? Like, all this is true. And the thing that's amazing is the schedule has been so ridiculous for the Fever. 11 games in 20 days. They have not had a practice since the season started. It's been a bunch of film session and traveling. Like, they have not had a practice. So a lot of these people are like, where are her teammates at? Like, the thing is, they don't know her like that. Right? And so it's a situation where you see somebody cheap shot a teammate, you're kind of like, I should probably check that out. But it's like once the Bulls got Oakley, right? And you knew you're going to cheap shot Jordan, Oakley going to come running for you, right? You remember Craig Bates telling us about the dude that protected Wayne Gretzky in Edmonton all those years. Couldn't really skate, didn't have no stats, but if you cheap shot at Wayne Gretzky, this dude was going to hop over the thing, and now you had to fight him, right? Mm-hmm. But it takes time to get there. And the one thing I'll talk about, Candace Parker, right? They kind of, her great, she was MVP and Rookie of the Year the same year. Yes. But she also had Lisa Leslie in the locker room. Lisa Leslie was not at her peak at that point, but it's Lisa Leslie. There's nobody like that in the Fever locker room. Mm-hmm. Your two best players, rookie, second year, trying to figure this out.
Yeah.
With a coach in her second year of coaching. With a bunch of different parts you're trying to figure out how to fit. And general manager of the Fever, former UK assistant coach Lynn Dunn, who still follows me on Twitter.
Right. That's right.
She still follows me on Twitter for some reason.
That's awesome.
So,
hey, coach. Hey, coach
yeah,
Dunn.
she just started following. I don't know what I was tweeting about, but I was like, "Oh, okay, this okay." So look, there's just so much, and one last thing is when you move up from I don't want to say a niche sport, but when your profile raises, so does the crazy, right?
Mm-hmm.
The we're in this crazy hot take culture anyway, so I'm sorry, WNBA, this is going to be part of it. If we got to watch Stephen A. Smith walk into the Garden and we've got to have debate about whether or not he could score on LeBron James, this is part of it. Like the stupid stuff this is what happens when Skip Bayless can look a Hall of Fame Shannon Sharp in his face and tell him he's crap. This is what happens. Like this is part of what we do now. So welcome to the club.
Yeah.
You know you make it when people start making ridiculous things about your sport. We made it, Ma.
That's it. Good stuff, man. Enjoyed it. Appreciate everybody that watched on the stream, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube. Be up on Roku, BS3 Network. Appreciate JR the Bossman and Jeff Drummond as well. And the basketball drought ends tomorrow night. We have 4 to 7 NBA games left, TV. We'll see.
I'm hoping Dallas takes care of business because I do not like the Celtics.
Yeah, me too. And I don't like the Mavericks, but I still want them to beat the Celtics. So I was hoping Minnesota could have took care of Dallas. Since they didn't, I gotta hope the Mavs can find a way against Boston. Boston. Enjoyed it. Appreciate y'all watching. Michelle, be safe going to Arizona. Saw you in the comments. Yeah, have a safe flight. And appreciate the boss man being centered as well because he lets us hop on here every single week. So everybody be safe. TB will holler at you next week. We'll do it all again. Hopefully we'll be talking about Omaha as well.
Yes, sir. Omaha.
See y'all later.